We have absolutely shocking news for you all. I'm sure no one expected this at all. 2026 Indiana Fever broadcast schedule. Every single game nationally televised. 44 for 44. Caitlin Clark batting 1,000. What's crazy though, and this is for the WNBA in general with that media rights deal, is you look down to the bottom right. By the way, I'm gonna post this on an the community thing, or I don't even, they might have changed it to community or whatever, where I can post stuff. So I'll put this there for you all if you want a place where you can have it. But check out the bottom right on this. ABC, CBS, ESPN, Ion, NBA TV, NBC, Peacock, Prime, and USA. Just in case, you wanted to keep it simple so you knew where all the games were going to be and didn't have to completely, flip around and figure it out. They're going to be in one convenient location for you. But this is not, look, obviously we all know why they did this, but apparently the old guard, of the WNBA, they get a little confused about these sorts of things. They don't quite understand why it is exactly the Indiana Fever would get all 44 games. How dare they didn't, they're not the champions. They're not the defending champions. They didn't win anything. Why would they get all of these games? Huh. Of course, they like to blame the WNBA. I think we saw that last year as well, even though the WNBA doesn't do this, right? Media, the media, they paid the WNBA for the rights to the games. Okay? Keep that in mind. We're going to circle back to that because we had a whole lot of this. And I won't go through all of them, but I saw this everywhere, versions of this. We'll go through. In what world I guess that's supposed to be world, do the champions of the last 3 or 4 WNBA championships have the 4th most televised games? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Um, I don't know if comments like this are an indictment of the WNBA old guard. And, I'd love to do a study, uh, IQ testing, get an average IQ of the WNBA old guard fans, compare that to the general population. Because I I don't know. Maybe it's things that I've learned over time that I've learned growing up, learned in school, learned from my dad, whatever it might be, that's so ingrained in my brain that maybe I'm confusing certain things and knowledge with what I consider common sense. Make it make sense. Okay, I'll make it make sense. The media pays to televise games. Then they sell advertising when they put those games on TV. In order to turn a profit, they have to sell more in advertising than they paid for the game. In order to do that, they need to get people to watch the games. Therefore, they're going to put on teams and matchups that get them the ratings and the fans that allow them to charge the advertisers enough to make money. It ain't complicated. It is not rocket surgery, okay? It is not brain science. Maybe it is a little brain science, actually. Now that I think of it, maybe that's the problem. But this is everywhere. We've seen this everywhere. And the team that won 3 of the 4 titles doesn't get this, by the way. Number 2, I think, let me go back because I think they have it on here, right? Number 2 is the Wings. Nobody's complaining about the Wings. It's all about the Fever. The Fever. And then, again, I kind of just broke that down for you. It's basic economics. I don't think they teach that in school anymore. They don't even teach 2 plus 2 in school anymore, but that's a topic for another day, right? And then of course we always have to go here. Can't make this up. This is what women deal with all the time. If anyone deserves it, it's national champion MVP Asia Wilson. No one wants to watch Asia Wilson play basketball. You might think she's great. You might think she's the greatest in the world. No one cares. No one wants to watch her. Therefore, unless the goal of the media is to lose money on these games, they're not going to give Las Vegas Aces and Asia Wilson as many games. It's quite simple. By the way, the bigger ratings that the Fever games get also means more people having an opportunity to see the teams and the players that the Fever play. They may see something they like. They may start following another player. They may start following another team as a secondary team, right? You get a little more of that. And I think it's weird, but you get a little more of that nowadays in the age of the internet. It's, a whole lot easier to follow teams that aren't in your market than it used to be. So again, that's a positive for the league and the players. But yeah, how is it? Here we go. That Indiana will have all 44 games televised, and the reigning WNBA champs only have 33 games televised. Well, I might have just mentioned that. I think again, not complicated. I had responded to a few of these because it was just exhausting, and they do this a lot too. When they say something really stupid, they limit the replies. They don't let people reply other than I think it's their own followers. You should be more upset that the worst team in the league has more games televised than the WNBA champs. At least Indy has proven they draw. Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. That's what I'm saying. No one's talking about the Dallas Wings having the second most games. Um, and you will get a lot of the seven old guard WNBA fans will check in for that because they're hoping that Paige and AZ can't control themselves and something untoward happens on the court. They're looking for a little OnlyFans content with their WNBA game. So, oh my, sometimes uncensored and unafraid can backfire on me. But I'm just saying, probably the same reason Dallas is the second most. You already know the answer. Let's go. They're already making noise. And yet, and this is everywhere, I couldn't even use X as any kind of research for ideas for stuff that I thought would be interesting for all of you to talk about because it's this wild how they show you what they prioritize right there in plain view. Yes, yes, exactly. Because again, the media paid the WNBA a lot of money. They need people to watch in order to make that money back and turn a profit. So that means they're going to put Caitlin Clark on as often as possible, which is why she's going to be on all 44 games. All 44. All 44 games. And sometimes you just have to have a little fun. Ken Swift says there, hey, FFAM, remind me, how many of the 44 Fever games will be nationally televised again, please? I let Ken know 44, Ken, 44. I believe that's most of them. I appreciate you double checking. Accuracy is important. I just want to make sure, so that's every single game for the Fever, correct? If my calculations are correct, and I believe they are, that is in fact every single game for the Fever. I have not been able to pinpoint why, but I'm working on it. Yeah, you do. Like I said, I rattled off all of the different things. So you're going to have Peacock for some, and not everyone has Ion or NBA TV. And, there's a lot of that. In the immortal words of Billy Crash Craddock, rub it in, rub it in. So yeah, as you can see, they're absolutely melting down over this. It's going to be fingers crossed, it's going to be a fun season. I really hope Stephanie White sees the light and goes full Christie size and just says, yo, Caitlin, you're right. You're the best player in the league in transition. Do your thing. Pedal to the metal, all the way to the floor. Run, run, run. Arkansas's 40 minutes of hell. We're going to run everyone into the ground. We're going to make them give up. No one is going to want to play us because of our relentless tempo. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe. Really do appreciate it. Shout out to the 19. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.